Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session that was created for a client that, despite a relationship ending, was having compulsive thoughts about his ex and all the ifs, woulds, coulds, maybes, all those kind of things. And sometimes it is difficult for a relationship that is really strong and that you hope goes well. If it ends prematurely, it can be difficult to let go of that, just because, like anything of value, it becomes almost difficult to let go of that thing because there's that little voice that says, but maybe there's still hope. And the problem is, while the brain is focused on, but what if there's a chance? Then what you're doing is you're attaching to something that has already ended. Now, that doesn't mean that just because a relationship ends that it can't reignite at some point in the future. That's obviously a possibility. But by thinking about all the different variables and meanings and that kind of stuff means that you're attached to something that currently is dead. And what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is an infusion of clinical hypnosis with acceptance and commitment therapy, which, of all of the third wave cognitive behavioral therapies, I have to say is the one that I believe integrates best with hypnosis, because it does use a lot of metaphor, but at its core, ACT, or acceptance and commitment therapy, is about a realization that you can't have your cake and eat it, that you can't be attached to something, whatever that thing is. It could be an identity, it could be a trauma, it could be the idea of a relationship that is no longer viable, while simultaneously living the life that you want to live. So you're going to hear this. There's a metaphor of being attached to a tree that was alive and then becomes dead. And by being attached to a dead tree, it then prevents the client from exploring all of the trees that are alive. Now, at some level, the tree can represent a relationship, but it can also represent a career, a business, an opportunity, a home. All of these things become, and that's what I love about metaphors, is that you can make it fit with whatever is relevant at any moment in time. And you'll also hear an element of a variation of the swish pattern, because it was inevitable that even with this hypnosis that he would continue to think, albeit less frequently, about his ex, in which case, if the idea of the ex prompts a compelling vision of him at his best, living life in a focused, determined way where he's moving towards success, then actually thinking about his ex becomes a trigger to then focus on things within his control, because while he can't control his ex, he can control the decision to work out, the decision to work on himself, to explore businesses. And that's what you're going to hear in this session, a metaphor that enables this client to be able to accept the ending of one relationship, and by accepting that, then create the opportunity of moving on, whatever moving on means for them. This is a session that was created for a client, And therefore, lots of the suggestions and the metaphors are linked to this individual. But if you're listening to this, and maybe you're struggling with getting over an ex, maybe you still feel like you're in love, even if the relationship doesn't exist anymore. Maybe they've moved on, but you haven't. There will be a link nearby where you can schedule a free 30-minute consultation call with me to explore what it would be like to work with me directly. But for now, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just get a sense that tension, stress is leaving your body. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that with your eyes closed, you're able to give more of your attention to the sound of my voice. Breathing in through your nose, exhaling, and as you exhale, notice that when you elongate the outward breath, more of that tension is leaving your body. And on the next breath in, you're taking an incrementally deeper breath, enabling you to go deeper and deeper, relaxed. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine you are on the edge of an orchard. You can see all of these incredible trees in the orchard, but you're not in the orchard yet. I want you to imagine there's blue skies, fluffy white clouds, and I want you to stare up at the clouds and notice that they're doing something unusual. I want you to see the number 999 made of fluffy white clouds in the sky. The analytical, logical part of your brain is wondering how clouds can make numbers in the sky. And as you continue to look at the cloud, it then changes to the number 998. You continue looking at the clouds, and it changes again to 997. And that logical, analytical part of your mind is mesmerized, transfixed, obsessed with clouds counting down like a giant countdown timer in the sky. And I want you to focus on the shape of the clouds, the number of the cloud, and allow that logical, analytical part to keep looking at the cloud as the part of you that wants change, the part of you that really is seeking success and seeking new opportunities. Allow that part to continue walking towards the orchard. And as you look back, you can see that logical, analytical part is still there, staring at the clouds, completely transfixed, as I'm now communicating to the part that wants change. And I want you to imagine that you are wandering through the orchard and seeing that this is an unusual orchard because every tree is a different species of tree. Each tree has unique fruits, and there's certain fruits that you like and certain fruits that you don't. Certain trees that you can appreciate the beauty of the tree, and others that just don't resonate with you for some reason. And I want you to see a tree that seems more appealing than any other tree. And this tree has no fruit on it, but the tree itself looks beautiful to you. as you get closer to the tree, I want you to feel that there is something special about this tree. So you invest your time in this tree. Imagine watering the tree, giving the tree nutrition, pruning the tree. And as you invest your time and effort and attention on this tree, it starts to bear fruit. And these different fruits that come from this tree give you a sense that even though there are lots of other trees around, this is the tree that you're happy to be with now. And then I want you to imagine that something changes. And this tree starts to wilt. The fruits dry up. And it becomes clear that this tree is dead. And there's something else unique about this tree, because you spent so much time looking at this tree and wanting this tree to produce even more fruit, that you've become attached to the tree. And I want you to see that there is a rope connected to the trunk of the tree, and it's connected to your waist. As you walk away from the tree, you can feel the tension of the rope pulling you back to this tree that you can see is dead. The leaves are all dead. The fruit is all dried up. You get a sense that this tree won't produce any more fruit for you. And as you look around the orchard, I want you to see that there are other trees, many other trees. And each tree represents something different. A tree could represent a relationship, a business. The fruits on a tree could represent the benefits of that business. Perhaps profits, cash flow, experiences, connections. The fruits of a tree that represents a relationship can represent memories and experiences and incredible moments of growth and learning. You are in a giant orchard, and there are infinite trees in this orchard. There are species of trees that you've never even seen before, and fruits that you could taste that you've never experienced before. But at the moment, if you try and walk towards these trees, you could only walk maybe a meter or two, a few yards, and then you're pulled back to this dead tree. I want you to get a sense that the seasons will come and go, whether you're connected to this old dead tree or whether you move on and explore the orchard for the right tree for you. There is nothing to stop you other than the rope, to taste the fruits of other trees until you find the tree that's the right tree for you. But right now you're attached to this dead tree. I want you to see that there is a knife nearby. This knife represents acceptance. The first thing to accept is that you can't be connected to this old dead tree and simultaneously be in a different place in the orchard next to a different tree. Once you accept that the tree is dead, and you accept that you have to leave this tree in order to explore other trees that are clearly alive, clearly bearing fruit, clearly offering new experiences, opportunities, then it becomes the case that the only way to explore those new trees is to cut the rope. But before you cut the rope, I want you to accept that there are things that you've gained from all the trees that you've been with before, to mean that even though there are infinite trees in this orchard, you now know the qualities that you're looking for to reduce the search in the new tree. Therefore, nothing's been wasted. Everything that you've experienced up to this point in time makes it easier to explore the right new tree for you. And that tree may be a business. That tree may be a new relationship. That tree may be a new chapter in your life, a new place to live. It's anything you want it to be. But you can't explore the new trees while you're still attached to the dead tree. And if you're ready now to cut the rope and accept that the tree is dead and that this tree will bear no more fruit for you, and to cut the rope and leave that tree behind, let me know by nodding your head. And it's not easy to cut the rope. This is a thick rope. And the rope is thick because of what this tree did mean to you in the past. That tree gave you incredible fruits, and you've still got the benefits of those fruits now. The nutrition, the energy, the sustenance, the memories of those fruits. But at the same time, you now know that that tree is dead. And feel how it feels to be cutting away at the rope with this knife. See the strands of the twine start to break, to fray, and then eventually the rope breaks and you're able to move away from that dead tree. And you don't even need to know which tree you're going towards. You just know that there is the possibility of exploring the entire orchard to find the tree or trees that are the right trees for you. I want you to imagine somewhere in this orchard is a giant screen, almost like a cinema screen. I want you to imagine that a thought of a memory or a moment of someone that was important to you comes up on that screen. Maybe it's a memory. Maybe it's the thought. Maybe it's just an idea. And on that giant cinema screen in the orchard, see that thought and then shrink it down to the size of a dot, and then immediately replace it where you're seeing yourself with all the qualities you admire most in yourself. See yourself as determined, motivated, fearless, decisive. See yourself going out there, achieving at the level you know you're capable of. You're seeing yourself like someone else on this giant screen, out there pursuing meaningful things. Maybe that's working on a business. Maybe that's working out in a gym. See the version of you that you would admire. And then imagine that just fades away. And then at some point in the future, another idea, another memory, another thought of this person that was important to you pops into your head. And just like you did with the cinema screen, just imagine shrinking it down to a dot. If there's any sounds attached, shrink that down to a dot as well, and then replace it with this huge representation of you seeing yourself living life at your best. the most decisive you've ever been, making good, strong, determined decisions. See yourself focused, finding something that you can focus on and commit to, and see yourself obsessed in that area of your life. See yourself not afraid to take risks in relationship, risks in business, but see yourself also using wisdom and experience to mitigate those risks, to reduce the probability of failure and increase the probability of success. See that version of you, big, colorful, three-dimensional. See yourself living the best life that you can recall. And then explore this orchard. Imagine tasting different fruit. Imagine admiring different trees. And then imagine that you stumble across a tree that seems to resonate with your energy. You taste the fruit and the fruit tastes good. And I want you to get a sense that even though there are infinite trees in this orchard, you have no desire to leave this tree that you're with. Just accept that this is part of your future, that sooner or later, a tree will be discovered that you won't want to leave. And you'll only ever leave this new tree if that tree also dies. But you won't want that tree to die. I want you to get a sense that the orchard is infinite, which means the scarce resource is your time. In a world of infinite opportunities, the only scarce resource is time. And in life, you either win or you learn. And the only way to lose is by wasting time or not exploring different opportunities. And if that part of you that wants change is happy to explore the orchard till you find the tree that is the right tree for you, just let me know by nodding your head. It's now time to leave this orchard. But before you leave, I want you to imagine going back to that original dead tree. And I want you to check that the tree is dead. And imagine that it's been dead for a long time. You've been exploring the orchard, and it only dawns on you now that sometimes time can change the way that we think about it. Sometimes a year can feel like a day, and sometimes a weekend can feel like a lifetime. And as you look at that tree, it looks way more dead than it did before. Branches have broken off. It looks smaller than it did before, and I want you to get a sense that several years have passed since this tree has died. And weirdly, that makes you feel better, because it feels like it's happened a very long time ago. And keep the thought of that dead tree in your mind as you walk back to the edge of the orchard and you see someone that looks exactly like you looking up at the clouds, counting clouds that look like numbers in the sky. Walk back into that version of you so that you and the analytical version of you are now the same person. Perhaps you can even see what number the clouds are in the sky and realize they've been distracted all this time, and now you're as one. all parts fully integrated as you now return to the present, as you appreciate these were just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams, and you're now in the present listening to my voice. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. That's it. All parts fully in the present, listening to my voice as I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.